This is Teacher Tess from Wales English, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you as a new teacher at Wales English can fill your schedule as quickly as possible. So there are certain steps that you need to go through when you've received that wonderful letter saying, yes, we want you on board. You need to make sure that you get your profile up online as fast as you can and as well as you can. So make sure that you read through the guidance that Wales English will send you to think about the type of photographs, to upload a good shot of you that looks professional and engaging and friendly. Make sure that when you write your little piece about yourself that you consider, well, who are you as a teacher? How how you're going to work with their children to help them learn English, talk about your qualifications and your experience. And the same goes for the video. You have to do a profile video. Now this is really important, the parents watch this. So don't worry if you can't edit it. I didn't edit mine. I just went from a very, very long waffly video to something that got tighter and tighter and shorter until it was the right length. I just practiced, but I talked about, I talked about my qualifications, I talked about my experience, I talked about my interests, because then you can really portray yourself as a person and the parents can get an idea of your personality, which I think is probably quite important. And I talked about my classroom and how I teach and how I would work, what sort of environment I tried to create. And, I introduced Ollie the owl, and my microphone, which is used on a regular basis when I try and sing with the students. So make sure that your profile reflects you. I think that's important. So that's the first thing. Get your profile up. Secondly, you will be sent lots of emails with lots of invitations to do training. The first one you'll do are the various trainings for the trial classes, and that is really important because in general that's where new teachers start. You will be allocated trial classes before you get allocated your regular class. Now, when you've done your training, as soon as you've done your training, you can then be given the trial classes. And so that is obviously very nerve-wracking because it's new and you have to practice with the platform and make sure you understand what you're doing and think about lots of things. Let's think about the relationship you then develop with your TS. So your TS is your trial support person. Mine is wonderful. She is so helpful and she is my line of communication between here in the UK and Beijing. So remember that your relationship with that person is really important. So always communicate well with them and always help them, because sometimes there can be a few language barriers. So don't be surprised if there can be a little bit of miscommunication sometimes. Sometimes you need to explain things differently, or and that helps. It shows that you're making an effort with them as well. And again, when you start your regular classes, the parents can change their mind if they don't like you. So again, engage with the parents, talk to the parents. They need to like you. It's very important. Be timely, be polite, be respectful, be courteous, be helpful. So you have your profile, you have your training, and then you start, you have your relationship with your TS and the quality of the class, because your trial classes will be assessed and looked at, and obviously the hope is that the student that you teach then signs up with Wales English. So it's quite important that you do these really well, because if you convert students or parents, then you will get a bonus, but it's great for Wales and it's great for you. And when you start doing that, then you get your regular classes. When Wales English think you're teaching well enough, they will then allocate you the regular classes. Now, I've been quite lucky. I've only been working for them for a short amount of time, but I've already got a lot of regular classes. And I think it's because, again, when I made sure I did all the training that I possibly could, so I was available to teach all the different classes. Secondly, I've opened a lot of slots, because that really helps. If you've only got 2 or 3, I know Wales English want you to have a certain amount open, but if you can open more, it gives them more flexibility to allocate you lessons. So I've opened as many as I can. When you're opening your schedule or opening your slots, remember you should open as many peak hours as you can, because of course the parent will also choose a teacher who is available when they would like the classes. So if you've got a lot of closed slots, then you're not going to figure very highly. The team over at Wales English match the request from the parent with the personality, the training, etc. of the teacher, and that's sort of how you're suggested. So there's other things that the parents will consider. A lot of them like fancy videos with a bit of animation when you do your profile. Now, if you're not technically a technical wizard, I'm not, don't worry about it. Just do something that really reflects your personality. Don't worry if you can't do that, but apparently they do like it. I think your background, make sure that it looks tidy and clean and there's not too much clutter in it. Another way for you as a teacher to get more slots, more classes, is make sure that your teaching is really excellent. Make sure that you are, you do what you can, because you do have evaluations and you never know when they're going to be. They can be on any class you give. So always bear that one in mind. And positive evaluations, high rated evaluations of your class will obviously lead you to be pushed more towards the parents. Make sure that your tech is working. The last thing anyone wants is for there to be a glitch. Obviously, life happens, and there are times when storms, the local broadband company or whatever may collapse or things don't work, but basically make sure your tech works. Another thing that's super important, attendance. Make sure you've looked at your timetable. Make sure you've looked at your timetable, that you have prepared your lesson, that you know what to expect. And if you have alarms to put on, maybe put on 2 or 3 to make sure you get up in time and are ready to teach. All of these little things Wales English consider when proposing you as a teacher. So they're very simple to get right, but it's good to know. So anyway, I thought I would tell you that. So thanks very much for listening, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.